Welcome to the Inner King Initiative podcast, where we come to grow, let down that armor, just be us as Black men and men in general, right? And I want to thank you guys for being here because the feedback that I'm getting is giving me a lot of inspiration. You know, I'm always that back end guy that you don't see, but this is pushing me to keep going and keep going. And today is no different. So before I get started, reminder: like, share, subscribe, comment, send this to somebody. You know, just give feedback even more because it helps me to better the show. It helps me to bring better guests on, and today is no different, like I said, man. So how you doing today, Douglas? Because I do have a good guest.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You as well. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Born and raised here in Houston, Texas, but I've lived in Seattle, Detroit, Austin, Dallas. Just, more of an extrovert, more of a like fly by the seat of my pants, more of a spontaneity is king type of thing. And yeah,
that's good. So who are you in your everyday life now today?
In my everyday life, expound on that a little bit.
Like profession. What is your
profession?
What is your passion?
Professionally, I'm a serialpreneur.
Okay.
So I have a nonprofit organization called Houston Justice.
Okay.
I have a license to do a TED event, so I put on TEDx Third Ward.
We're putting
on our third event.
I actually applied.
You applied?
Yep.
You should have told me. You should have sent me a link. You should have sent me a thing. I wouldn't. Hey, I would have pushed you through.
Is it too late?
It's not too late.
Okay,
I'll push you through.
We'll talk.
Congratulations, semi-finalist.
Connections.
Connections. Because we had like 700 and something people,
right.
So I have a car rental fleet.
Okay.
I got 7 cars on Turo. I have a for-profit called the Outreach Collective where I do coaching and speaker prep and community outreach. And then I do real estate investing through the Douglas family companies.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. And I do a podcast on Wednesdays called Live from the Black House.
I gotta come. Yeah, I have to check out some more.
You got it.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely, for sure. But you accomplish these things and like being a part of TEDx. That's big, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get to there?
So I've always wanted to write a book, and a lot of people tell me that I should write a book. And so I actually started. You can tell. Oh, I could tell. So I start with 2 coaches, one in Seattle, one in Houston.
Okay.
Neither of them were Black, and I think that's got to be a piece. Like I think the coach is really gonna get or so I thought, but neither of those versions were like leading to be a book that I wanted to read.
Right.
And so then I did some research. One of my favorite authors is Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay.
And so he wrote like Outliers and David and Goliath and The Tipping Point. And so I looked at like, how did he write his books? And come to find out, the same way comedians do like, they test their jokes out at the little clubs before they get to the arenas. He tested Outliers and I think David and Goliath with TEDx. Yeah, so he would go and give a talk and use it as like a focus group. So like, oh, if they like this, then right. And
that gave me a good idea.
So then I was like, right. So then I was like, I'll do a TEDx. So then I ended up in somebody's sales funnel where they were
once you blink and you're in one of those.
Right. So then I do the call or whatever. They're like, for $25,000, we'll help you get on a TED stage. And I'm like, there's got to be another way.
There has to be. And
so did my due diligence. And next thing you know, I'm applying to facilitate an event to actually get a TEDx license. On the 7th back and forth, I get it. And so TEDx Third Ward allowed me to choose others to speak, but you can't speak on your own stage. So I did that for the first round, and then I did my own TEDx. Okay. The title was "Why You Should Break Up with Your Friends."
Oh, why should we?
Yeah. It just came out like last month.
We're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how I ended up doing that. Yeah.
So why do you say we should break up with our friends?
Because the people around you really do influence what you think, what you feel, what you do. If you hang around a bunch of losers, you're going to be a loser, essentially.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah. And I look at a lot of people around me who like, they either got in a relationship. Have you ever seen somebody who got in a relationship and they unraveled?
Yep.
Like people were like on it. And then it's like, oh, he got with her, and now
everything just changed.
Everything has changed. But the same thing with friends. Like I started realizing, like when I started hanging around people that were like really intentional, that had like some of the same values, had some of the same interests, And really it was like moving to a different city,
Mm.
because then you get like a blank slate,
Oh yeah.
because you don't get like, oh, we do this every Saturday.
Right.
Oh, we go to happy hour here every month. You know, you like, and so that's what kind of showed it to me. Yeah.
I can see that because I left here too.
Where'd you
From
go?
here. I went to Gremlin for about 4 years.
Okay.
Then I moved to South Carolina for a year. And I
Okay.
lived in Atlanta for 6 years.
Wow.
So I was gone.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm like, all right, I want to leave again.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you come back and it's like some of the people, they still are exactly the same.
Yep.
It's like you'll go to your old neighborhood and be like, oh my God, they put an HEB right there.
Mhm.
But this person over here is, you know,
They
and
seem
maybe
to get
they're
it built.
content with where they are. But it's just shocking sometimes when they shouldn't be content to be like, man, they, you know.
I know
still
people
that
who
thing.
they're like, especially where in the area I grew up, it's like everybody's dating each other. like,
Yeah.
from high
Oh
school.
my
and some
God.
people are still living with their parents.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Which
yeah.
area?
I ain't gonna put y'all out there.
No, but I mean, you can say which area. We don't know who they are.
West Side.
Okay, West Side. Okay, West Side. West Side.
But
Okay.
I seen it and I was just like, I'm so glad I left
Yeah.
because I didn't want to be stagnant. And I
Yeah.
can tell like when you don't get out, you know,
Mhm.
you're not getting exposed. So your mindset isn't growing. You're not
Absolutely.
getting these experiences. Staying here, I'd have been doing the same thing. Like you said,
Yeah.
turn up on the weekends,
The-
like partying all the time.
Yeah, when I moved to Seattle for the first time, I was invited to like. There's a difference between a hey, let's go turn up,
Mm-hmm.
and a hey, let's do coffee. Those are
Right.
two totally different
Oh, yeah.
conversations. And so I come back to Houston and like I'm reading books and I'm like stuff that I really enjoyed this whole time,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't on the menu before I left.
Right.
Because, you know, and in fact, one of those stories ends up in my TEDx talk. I remember moving back here, laying across the bed on a Saturday, and getting a phone call from a person who used to be a friend saying, "Hey, you know, come on out, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh, you working?" I'm like, "No, I'm chilling."
Right.
And a lot of people think that your haters are like people who are explicitly
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I don't like this person. Sometimes your haters can be someone who appears to be a friend that's keeping you away from your goals, keeping you away from your breakthroughs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's good though, because, and I always say when you start to do the hobbies and the things that
Oh
you
my
want to
God.
do,
Yeah.
you find your people.
Absolutely.
Because there's always somebody who's interested in what you're interested in. And so you have to be willing to meet people and actually be ready for conversations.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of us, we don't want to talk, right?
Right,
And
right.
COVID kind of did a number on people
Yeah.
when it came to like social.
Mhm.
I was in the house for a long time,
Yeah,
but I was like,
yeah.
okay, I can't be here no more. This is getting
Yeah,
depressing.
yes.
But I want to go back to who were you as a kid?
Ooh, as a kid, I grew up in a household with an abusive father.
What side of town?
We were all over. So we were in like Fifth Ward. Then we moved to South Park, where my mom was like the apartment manager at Crestmont Village,
All right.
which 5638 Selinsky, if you know, you know. And then we moved to the Southwest,
Okay.
and it was like, oh, like
Culture
you know,
shock.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was
it's
like,
different in
oh
every
my
area,
gosh,
usually, for
like
sure.
their water is a little colder, you know.
Little
This
more
is in the
luxury.
'90s. Like
Right.
now, it's all the same. But and from there, then we moved further west to like Highway 6, and then I moved out. But yeah, my dad was kind of in and out of life. Most kids are afraid of the boogeyman. I was afraid of him.
Okay.
And that really has shaped that relationship right there has shaped a lot of, you know, my life and the way that I see things.
And I can agree to that because when you, as kids, we get a lot of our foundation from our
Yes.
interaction with our parents.
Yes.
And so as a kid, like you're getting abused and so there's somebody that may be abusing their child now, or
Yeah.
there could be like a young kid who
Yeah.
might watch this and
Yeah.
get abused.
Yeah.
How did you get through that? Like, how did you navigate that?
I think as a child, because I was mostly like after going through therapy, one of the first like activities that they had me to do was to like draw my household, like, you know, my household and then my parents' households. And what I was able to think about was the fact that like my father was one of like, I don't know, 6 or 7. He went through a lot. So looking back at it, as a man that's 39 now, I understand that he was pulling from what he knew.
Right.
You know, he was beaten. You know, I mean, he would, there were times where he threatened to like, he would get mad and be like, I'll drive off the bridge and kill all of us. And he would actually veer into the shoulder, He would, the first time that we actually fought, I was defending my mother. He would, argue with her all the time, and you would hear furniture or lamps being thrown or this or that. So I had to be about maybe 11 or 12 the first time that I was like, I'm not going to hear this muffled in my bedroom. I'm going to actually go and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
But I knew I was smaller than him, but it was like, I'm going to do what I got to do. Yeah. So I went and I stood in there and he looks over and he's like, well, what are you going to do? And I just remember saying, I know what I'm not going to do is wait over there and just let you do whatever you're doing in here. Mm-hmm. And I just remember him coming over, and there's really not a difference between a whipping. It's all abuse. Mm-hmm. Like, if you have to use this to get your words across, that's not it. But it got so bad, I remember almost blacking out, being choked at 12.
That's wild.
And I remember my mom calling 911, the cops showing up, him being taken away in cuffs at 12. So
traumatic, wasn't it?
Traumatic, yeah. And that's just kind of what it was like, growing up. Yeah.
Wow. What about your relationship with your mom?
Man, my relationship with my mom is really good. So my mom, she was the constant. Dad was kind of in and out, and she would always come and say oh, it's okay, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But looking back, it shouldn't have been, let this thing happen and then let me soothe you. Mm-hmm. It should have been, let me get you out of this completely. Let us get us out of this completely. She finally did. She left after that when the cops came and this and that. And he was taken to jail. Interesting point about that. 2 days later, when he was let out, it was us who went back to get him, and I'm in the back seat.
Why?
Yeah. And he turned around to me and he said, "You better not." Can I cuss on here? No?
Sure.
No, I won't. We'll keep it clean.
Keep it classy.
Yeah, we'll keep it classy. He said, "You better not ask me for another MF thing."
Sugar, honey, iced tea.
There you go. And I took that as a challenge. I was like, oh, I just won't give him that power to
have that much of a presence in your life. So do you talk to him today?
No, we've been no contact since 2017.
I can accept that because not really accept it, but I feel like at some point, even parents, you might have to cut them off. Yeah. But you even said something earlier about your dad that a lot of us miss when it comes to our parents. He was pulling from something for that he knew. Yeah. He was pulling from what he knew. And I seen it for myself as a father. When my kids were first born, I was pulling from what I knew, but it wasn't until it went a little too far and I was like, oh no, this ain't right. And so how did that whole thing affect you as a kid? Growing up, how did you see it in your life more?
You mean how did that change the way that I saw things?
Yeah.
So when it comes, I have a wall up.
Okay.
Growing up in that type of situation, you have very little trust of others.
Right.
So I'm a really friendly person, but you only think you're in. There's actually an invisible wall that I keep up because you can't really trust people.
Right.
When you've been hurt by someone who was supposed to be someone protecting you,
especially your first superhero.
Yeah,
as a little boy, Dad is definitely
he was never that for me. He was never the superhero. I remember being 2 or 3, and I now know what was going on. But my mom would take me out to the couch because Dad was coming over, and he would bring Whataburger. And
no Whataburger bait.
Right. Whataburger. It's 11 p.m. Oh, you go sleep out here, and I'm like, oh, now I'm 39. I'm like, oh, that's what was going on.
Right.
But it would always be, an hour, 2 hours later, they're arguing, they're fighting. He's leaving. He's getting put out. So I never saw. Right. And we never hugged. My dad never told me he loved me. My dad never. Now he would do these very surface level. like, oh, you did good type
Mhm.
of things, but that's not depth.
Right.
And then I also found that, and I think it is, so I don't know if it's just a man thing or it's a black man thing, but like the show of emotion
Mhm.
was like never really there.
Well, we were taught not to show our
We were
emotions.
taught not to show our
And
emotions.
because even a lot of stuff you just said, I resonated with because it was a while I couldn't even say I love you to my kids.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I didn't know how to do it.
Mm.
And we were in New Orleans one year and we were at the pool. My brother was drunk and he was like talking to some people. He said, we grew up in a household where we didn't even say I love you.
Wow.
And when he said it, I stopped and I was like,
Yeah.
huh? And my
Yeah.
wife asked me, she's like, is that true? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's why you don't really say it that often.
Yes.
And she's like, I know you love us, but you don't say it.
Right.
And it took for me to be like forcing myself to say, I have
Yeah.
to get comfortable with this
Yes.
because I can't keep it going.
Right.
My parents never really said I love you.
Yeah.
I barely heard I'm proud of you until I became an adult. Like now I'm hearing it. Now it's like, oh, you got this, the encouragement. So it's refreshing to get it now.
Yeah.
It's essential as a kid, but it's definitely, I always say God will give you back the time that you missed.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
And so how did you go about healing outside of therapy? Or even how are you doing it to this day?
I'll say, one of the things that I had to realize, you cannot change other people.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot change someone. And so what I had to understand was, because this was a cycle, like he would act a fool and then get put out and then blah, 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 and then he's back.
Right.
And then he would, we have a few months of peace and then it's just like, so what I had to realize was, and when I actually went no contact, the story behind that, let's see.
I was definitely going to ask.
Oh, yeah. The story behind that. So we were planning a family event. I'll just say that because I'm trying to because I know there's some, listen, I'm going to get back to it, but I'm working on a book now and I told my mom about it and she's like, am I going to be embarrassed? And I told her, and I meant this. I said, this is not your book. This is my book.
Right.
And I'm not going to write it in a way to make sure that you're not embarrassed. I'm going to write my book.
Right. And your story.
And my story. So, hey, it happened.
That's because I'm writing a book too.
Yeah.
And when I first started my book, I had that same, I don't want to embarrass my people. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to share these things. But after a while, I'm like, I got to just share it.
But yeah, because it's like, I'm not protecting the abuser.
Right.
I'm not. So I'll go ahead and say it. So my brother was graduating college.
Okay.
And we were planning his graduation party.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad remarried. He remarried a woman with my mom's same name. It's crazy. Both their names are Cheryl. And so we were meeting. It was going to be me, mom, dad, and his wife to look at the venue in the building that I live in to make plans. So they show up. We're all looking. And my mom is making suggestions like, oh, we could do this. And my dad, in front of his wife, is like, no, you're not paying anything. You don't get a say. Me and Durrel, and I'm just like, that dynamic, it told me a lot about her, his wife, that he felt so free to do that in front of her. It also told me that he's probably doing this to her too.
Probably so.
And, so I step in and I'm like, Dad, my half is her. This is Mom, right?
Right.
So big argument, they leave.
Pointless.
And this is where the real problem comes in. My mom tells me that my dad told my brother, you have to choose whether you want to do their party or my party. Right.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what father would do that? Right. So I write it on Facebook. I'm like, that was my Facebook page is a public facing journal.
That's
so I write a lot. Yeah. It's like a lot of people think I'm preaching. I'm like, no, I'm talking to myself.
Right.
I'm just sharing it with you. And so my dad, that's his kryptonite because he's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So everyone sees him as this sweet being. And I'm shining a light on his thing.
This is who he really is.
This really is.
What's done in the dark comes to light.
Right. So he calls me and he's like, what's this you put on Facebook? I said, it's the truth.
Right.
And my father, and I will not fault him for this, but let's just say if we played Big Bank, Little Bank, wouldn't be no competition. But he goes on to tell me, this is why you ain't gonna never be S in life. You ain't gonna never be. And I just thought to myself, wow, this is the same thing that he said to 11-year-old me. Right. But at the time I was 31. And I remember telling him, I'm standing on the 19th floor of my condo, looking out over Houston. And you what father would say that? Even if I wouldn't S, right? But I went on to I had a release. And I just let him have it.
Sometimes you have to.
I let him have it, and we haven't talked since.
So how freeing did that feel for you?
Oh my God. It was up to that point. We were mostly no contact, but my mom every year, did you call your dad for his birthday? And I found that so fascinating because I'm like, I stood up for you.
And you're still
like even interacting with this guy.
Right.
And it has given me some resentment towards my mom, towards my brother, he told my mom, and this was last year, he told my mom that if she weren't the mother of his children, that he would kill her and bury her in the front yard of his house.
That is insane. It's
insane. So I don't understand how that's not enough to say, right.
Well, some people are, I think, I don't want to bash women, but I think there's a lot of women I'm seeing or I've known who sat in a situation that they should have left.
Yeah.
But it was all because like, oh, I know he can do better or I love him.
Yeah. I can change him.
I can change him.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even like, oh, that's the father of my kids.
Yeah.
And that's attachment is real.
Do you know what's wild? So in this very room, because we did a podcast one day and I had the audience, it was like my mom and a couple other people to ask questions. And her question to me was, how did I feel about the divorce? Or like when we left, like going back to that moment, I was thrilled.
Right.
But I find it fascinating that she thought that was even a thing. Like he went to jail.
Right.
You know?
She thought his punishment was served.
Right. But also like she thought that, I don't know, like, why would I want to stay in that? You know, like what would have been the point? But yeah,
really, that whole thing is a testament to like fathers.
Yes,
you have to lead by example.
Yes,
like your kids, they don't care what you say.
Exactly,
it's more so what they see and how they're acting. I mean, how you're acting. And even with my kids, like I remember just like telling them stuff, and they'd be like, okay,
yeah.
But it wasn't until I started doing it, right? And so if you're in your house arguing with your significant other, they see it,
throwing stuff, knocking stuff over.
Like I was 7, I seen my mom throw them old like thick home phones at my dad, hit him right in the head, here. So he had to get stitches. So I watched that happen, and I'm like, I don't want to be that parent.
Yeah.
Even with my wife, she said she's seen her parents arguing, so we came up. We was like, no, we're not arguing. Like not like that anyway. Like let's converse, but let's not argue.
And that's why to this day, like I do not argue. I do not argue with people because most of the time you'll never get the other person to see what the way you see it. And then number 2, like you're usually wasting your time.
Oh yeah, I think arguments are two angry people just talking to each other,
but
nobody's listening to each other,
and nobody's listening. And so I've just found it easier to just take note. Like I will say this about my father: it made it easier to make that same decision. So if you look at the arc of me choosing this person who gave me life, if I can walk away from that and say, I have to love you from a distance because it's not your fault that you're toxic, but you're toxic.
I can say it's your fault because it's your responsibility to heal it.
Right.
We're not responsible for what happened to us, but you're responsible for healing yourself.
And so I'm just like, and my life has been thrilled. All the things that I listed when you asked, like, oh, like what are some of these things? It's because of, sometimes our disadvantages can lead to like this toxic resilience almost.
Right.
And I would attribute a lot of it to that too.
Okay. So because you talked about a lot of that, a lot of release, and you mentioned books a lot.
Yes.
What are some of your top books that you would recommend for anybody?
Ooh, okay. So we're going to go the Napoleon Hill route, and we're going to say Think and Grow Rich.
Okay. That's a good one for sure.
Yeah. Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power.
Oh, my wife is reading that one right now.
Robert Greene, Art of Seduction. I'm going to say Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm going to say James Clear, Atomic Habits.
That one changed a lot for me.
Oh my gosh.
I was like walking around my house. I was like, that's why I do this?
Right.
Like
right.
I watched my dad, we're going to go back to the books, but I watched my dad like eat sugar all the time. He had a sugar addiction. And so I developed it because that's what I watched him doing. And so after I read that book, I was like, I do make juice accessible. That's why. And like now my water is in plain sight and I grab it quickly. But it's just like the little changes, the little things that it highlights about you. You're like,
it makes a big difference. God. Yeah. I'll even say like the scarcity mindset. Like I've taken some big bets I've taken some very calculated risks that have paid off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like a muscle. The more you use that muscle, the more that you strengthen it. And then also I found that I don't look at it like, oh, I went to this restaurant. You better eat all the food on your plate. That's what we're taught. You need to eat all the food on your plate. And it's like, you can't get another meal. Like, right? And it's not to say that you should be wasteful, but not to look at things like that. Like, no, if I want some more chicken, I will come back and I'll do it. I will invest financially or otherwise in myself and others, because like what you put out, the energy you put out will come back.
Absolutely.
So it's like if you're a tool or if you're a conduit for like God's work, right? Like sometimes you're supposed to spend $2,000 at that thing, not only for your own self-development, but also because like that's the flow. It's supposed to go there and it'll come back to you.
It will.
But how many times do you think you'll get financial blessings if you're hoarding and afraid to invest or spend elsewhere?
Yourself, yeah. And man, sometimes you have to go even when it's your last.
Even when it's your last. You have to, because there's something about like spending your last that just when you're at the roulette table and you say, put it all on black. And you look the dealer confidently in the eye. There's something that commands the ball to land.
It commands the room. It's power in the tongue. You have to have like the faith to really just dive into it.
Yeah.
And me and my wife a couple years ago, actually 2 years ago, we drove from here to Atlanta with $400 in our pockets.
Yeah.
Literally $400.
Burn the ships.
Burned it. Didn't know how we were going to get there all the way. We knew, okay, let's make it to New Orleans. We can go to your mom's and we can figure it out from there. Yeah. And her mom ended up like, okay, here's the money. Yeah. I'm like, okay, look at that. We keep going. Yes. We got to Atlanta. My mom was like, here's the money for a hotel room. I'm like, wow. Okay. And then I get to the thing and we're just like talking like this, normal conversations. I'm like, man, this is my first conference. I've never been to a conference before and I'm having the time of my life. Right. And I said, this is a faith trip for me. And people were like, huh? And I was like, yeah. I said, we left the house with $400.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But I'm happy I did it. When I tell you by the end of that first day, I had enough money to eat the whole weekend.
There you go.
And I said, that's crazy.
This TEDx thing that started as an idea is now a 6-figure venture on its own.
See,
on its own. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but it is. But no, that is. I will. So whenever I try to think through, should I do this or not? I say there's the Cadillac Escalade plan and there's the Hyundai Elantra plan. Okay, so the Cadillac Escalade plan is like, if all goes well, this is what it'll look like. The Hyundai Elantra plan is everything went wrong.
The backup plan.
If I can deal with that, meaning, it costs $10,000 and blah, 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 blah. If I can lose that and still be like, okay, then I know I'm going to fall somewhere between the two and I'll be all right. And I should do it. Yeah.
Man.
And it's like the more that you do those things, every move to Detroit, to Seattle, to start at the prison. Me and my mom were co-workers. We started at the prison at the same time.
How was that?
So I'm in high school. 1.7 GPA.
Okay. Where you graduate high school at?
Westbury High School.
Okay.
But I went to law enforcement for 3 years. I got expelled my 11th grade year. They were like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go to where you are zoned. And my mom was on unemployment. And so when you're on unemployment, there's so many weeks. Right. So we got some letter that was basically like, y'all about to run out. Like there's X amount of state and X amount of federal and you're about to happen. So I knew I couldn't go off to University of Texas. Or first of all, they wouldn't accept me. But even Prairie View or TSU, it's like, who's going to, if I need $50 for a book or $100, like I need to continue to produce revenue. Right. Not only for myself, but I'm helping with the light bill. I'm helping with whatever. And my dad at the time, like when we left that apartment, and we moved, my dad kept all the furniture, all the dishes. We had nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, like that is a monster, right? And I just remember thinking, like he still to this day has all my trophies, all my certificate books and all that with his new wife. Yeah, and there, he just kept all that. There. Just there. But
so you essentially had to become the man of the house early.
Right, early. So like a lot of the decisions that I make today at 39 are because I've had a shorter learning curve, because I was helping look for apartments at 13 and 14, calling, do y'all have any 2-bedroom, 1-bath available? Is this special still going on?
Right.
Does the $99 move-in apply to da 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 da? You know, like,
It's a
can
blessing and a
y'all
curse.
keep that? Because our lease is up in June. Can that up? We're in March. Can that special apply then? Like, you're learning all that stuff when you're 12 and 13. So by the time you're in your 30s, you've been doing all this life stuff longer than my peers.
That's what it could be a blessing and a curse.
Oh, it's a curse for real too. Yeah,
definitely so, because you didn't get to experience childhood. You had to be older. But on the flip side, the good part of it is you got the experience.
Exactly. So now I'm living my childhood now. So now
you're a child with money.
Let me tell you, I'm a child with money. Like yesterday. So full disclosure, when we were talking about doing this podcast today, for some reason I thought it was going to be Wednesday. So I put it on my calendar as Wednesday.
Okay.
So when I went back through my notes and I saw that it was Thursday, I was like, oh, it's tomorrow. I got some time. I went and got a pedicure and a Thai massage in the middle of the day, just unplanned. And it's like, that's the whimsy that I kind of didn't have that I'm now like living.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that, because you just like, okay, I have time. Self-care is the first thing you ran to. So how is self-care important to your life, and where do you start?
Self-care, I have a journal. Okay. So I said that Facebook and social media is kind of like my public facing journal. Like, I love to go back and look at memories to see like what I was thinking 1 year, 5 years. Sometimes I'm like, okay, let's delete this one from 8 years ago. Like, what did this come from?
I was no.
Man, yeah. I love meditation. I'm
starting to love that a lot more.
Oh my gosh.
4:30 in the morning, I'll be outside with my dogs. My dogs be running around. I just be like,
exactly. Yes. Naps in the middle of the day.
I can't take a nap for some reason.
Oh man,
I gotta figure out why, but it's hard for me to take a nap.
I think it's my ADHD. So like, I will hyper focus and just 100 miles an hour, and it'll be 2 p.m. and I'll be like, cancel the rest of my day, reschedule some of this stuff, and I'll go home and take a nap.
But you have to when you feel like it. Like, and I think a lot of us, we don't listen to our bodies. That's what we were talking about earlier, like the hustle culture. Like, we got to keep going. It's like, no, listen to your body.
And now at 39, I'm finally getting to the point, because I did a lot of this. I just became a serial entrepreneur probably within the past 5 years. Okay. Before that, I had to work for other orgs, other people. So it was like, if I have to do all of this, if I have to sit through this meeting
again
and listen to all this, and I'm like, they know that it's an open book test that they continue to fail. Sometimes that's annoying. It's like, the money ain't even that they keep your money, because this is frustrating to sit here and watch y'all do this wrong. So sometimes that's God telling you, take notes, because when it's yours, you'll at least know that much. You'll at least know that much. And sometimes, because there are some things, even with parents, where I'm like, oh, now in my 30s, I'm like, okay, they had a point.
Yep.
Mom had a point, auntie had a point, uncle had a point. I get it now, because you only see things from your perspective. So when you get there, it's like, oh, here's why you don't do that. I travel every month. Exposure. I travel every month. Okay. So like, I have like a concert in another city every month. Like Tank and the Bangers, you ever heard of them?
No.
Okay, that's homework.
I got you.
Homework. Tank and the Bangers for y'all. Saw Lion King on Broadway.
How was that?
In January. Oh my gosh, it was overstimulating. I cried. Okay. Like the opening scene, the circle of life, it was just so, and I don't know what that is. Like, you're the mental health professional or healing expert. Like, it was just like the colors, the dance, the music. I was just overwhelmed and just kind of like, wow. I'm over here like, oh my gosh.
Because colors evoke emotions.
Really?
Music evoke emotions. And art, it's all art.
And it was just emotions. like a 3-punch, like color and dance and sound. And,
But that's what we were talking about earlier when we talked about the band versus watching on TV or watching on YouTube.
Well, they didn't hear that part.
They didn't.
Oh, they didn't. Well, those people did.
Yeah, those people did. They didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like earlier, because we were talking about remote podcasting versus in-person podcasting, and he gave a reference of being at a live band show or watching it on YouTube and the difference, the feeling of it. So that's really what you're experiencing in that room. Wow. That's why I always want to see things live. Like you can listen to music, and that's why people like concerts. You can listen to music on Apple, Spotify, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
You can't feel the energy in the room. You can't flow with it, just vibing.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, if you listen to music, you're doing your everyday thing.
Yeah. And isn't a laugh better when somebody else is laughing with you? A funny ha-ha is better when your friend is also laughing too, like because y'all get to share the connection. Thing. Yeah, and you miss that through Zoom and through these digital, and I'm sorry, if I've ever been on a Zoom meeting, you're getting at maximum 65% of my attention.
Yeah. I was in tech for 10 years. And throughout the 10 years, I said the one thing I hated was being in a meeting every week. It was like 3 or 4 meetings every week. And every week we talked about the same thing. And I'm like, why are we here?
And then you learn that like the rules are not as they appear.
They're not.
Like when you see a job a job posting and then they say, here's how to apply. Sometimes what you don't know is that job is reserved for Randy.
Already.
And Randy ain't even the best person.
Randy just knows somebody.
He knows somebody. And so now I've incorporated a lot of that. Relationships rule the nation. Like we were saying earlier, you were like, oh, I applied. I'm like, oh, that's a done deal. I met you. Boop.
Right.
Because who's going to stop me? Who gets to tell me, no, that's not fair? I just changed the rule. I just did. Yeah.
Most companies do it. Because like even with like you're a contract employee, 80 hours a week. They still expect you to work outside of that. I got into it with a project manager before because she sent me something and I was just like, I'll get to it tomorrow. Yeah. No, somebody else sent me something the next morning. She was like, why haven't you done this? I was like, first of all, it's 9:00 and I got that at 6 p.m. yesterday. I'm with my family. Yeah. And then she went and told everybody like he doesn't want to do his work. I'm like, huh?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah. And so it's like when I'm talking to men and I'm like, well, we have these jobs. Like I don't knock you for having a job, but put yourself first.
Yes.
Because you can fall over tomorrow and
they will replace you just like that.
Just like that.
Working at the prison, I was a CO and then I was a sergeant and then I was a lieutenant. And one of my warden Mossbarger, he said there were 2 different instances where, these are still, I remember to this day and I use them guidance for light. One of them was 10 words. The 10 words that made me say, okay, it's time to leave. I was young. I was like 22, 23. And I was making all these innovations. Like they still take count with a pencil on a yellow piece of paper with a 10 key by touch calculator. So all I did, I set up an Excel spreadsheet with some and some, sort of add it up. And then I would still transfer it over and count would clear like 20 minutes sooner. And, they didn't know about it. It's like, what is this? You be putting stuff in, in the computer and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, this is like use the tools, And so he has this meeting with me and he's basically telling me, keep your nose clean. You got a big future in this agency. And he says, 10 words changed my life. He said, this is not a place for innovation and fresh ideas.
Time to go.
And he meant it one way, but what I heard was it's time to go. Like he thought I would like fold in, but I heard run.
Yeah, because you have to look behind the word that coming out.
I couldn't believe that he said it out loud. It was already inferred. And so from there,
in most places it is.
Yeah. So when I put in my 2 weeks, I quoted him. And but it was the right time at the right place. Oprah says it, when God speaks to you, at first it's a whisper and then it's audible. And before you know it, it's a brick upside the head. And
that happened to my wife.
Yeah. I ended up quitting. But before I quit, I went to explain it to my mom, who was also working at the prison, but she was still a CO at a different unit at that time. And so my mom has always been the person that I felt I had to convince. And whether she agreed or not, I was still, but if anybody could convince me, she could convince me.
Right.
Now there are a few more people added to that list. I understand the importance of mentors.
That is important for sure.
But, she was like, you want to give your state job with benefits?
It's always the state job.
It's the state job with
government
benefit.
job.
Yeah. The steady.
It's good benefits. I
Yeah.
can buy my own benefits.
Right. But it's like, I bought our car last year.
Mm.
And I was like, what about them state jobs and benefits? You know what I mean?
You pay for this?
I pay my mom's rent every month. You know what I mean? What about them state jobs and benefits? It's like, you gotta stoop to conquer.
Mm. So how is it being a son who's taking care of his mom like this?
It is one of the most joyful experiences.
Really?
And especially to hear, like she explained it to somebody the other day. She was like, the roles really do reverse. It's funny because my mom often operates from a point of scarcity.
Right. So
last year, she was complaining about her car needing a repair.
Okay.
She didn't know that I had bought I was planning to buy a car, but it had to be shipped here, and there was some other. So I'm telling her, just chill, just use Uber, connected to my Uber account. Give me a little minute. And she was like, no, because I have to blah, 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 blah. And so to actually give her the car, and she didn't even believe it when they brought it around. She was like, stop lying. I'm like, no, Mom, this is all a ruse. Right. We're all, the bow and everything is to trick you. And she, it has been very, it's been really cool.
That's good, man. Because I've been talking to God about that for myself. I was just like, I think I'm at that phase where it's like my mom's getting older. Yeah. And I'm the youngest, but it doesn't look like my brothers are really trying to put forward to it. So I'm like, all right, I'll be the one to do it. Yeah. And so hearing that is like, okay, maybe there's an experience that God wants me to feel.
And I'll say, so my mom was still working for the prison. So I left after 5. Okay. She did the whole 20. So to hear her complain about, her feet hurting and this and that. And then she would work these overtime days. And I'm like, trick. You got 2 sons that are a member of the Fish Don't Fry in the Kitchen Club. Right? Me and my brother, we doing all right. Right. And you embarrassing us. For people to see you doing all of this, you can't go to family function, think we not,
You are a representation of me.
Right. But not only that, I would ask her okay, well, what are you going to make? And she'd be like, $400. And be like, I will cash up you $400. Call them people. Your time is more valuable. But I think going back to the scarcity mindset, our people have been told, you better get that overtime. You better work, because that is your way to success. And it's like, no, that is not the game everybody else is playing.
Yeah, you got to play the game differently than what society says. Because even earlier when you said, I went to go get a pedicure. Yeah. How many guys saying that?
Oh, yeah. Listen.
Not many.
And the lady, and she put the clear coat. I usually get it buffed. She was starting to do the clear, and I started to stop her. I was like, go ahead.
I did that before.
Go ahead. I was like, she didn't ask. Usually they ask. They're like, but she did everything else so well. And okay, so day before yesterday was election day. Yeah. Which was a mentally heavy day for me. Okay. Exhausting.
How did you decompress that?
With the time massage.
Tell me about it first.
Okay, so
how did you decompress?
So Jasmine Crocker was running for U.S. Senate. Mm-hmm. I held a fundraiser for her at my home a few weeks ago. Where she came, we raised a lot of money. Not what we wanted to raise, but we raised a lot of money. And a lot of I used to do campaign work. I don't anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer the person that will work for your campaign. But if I like you, I'll throw you a fundraiser. If I like you, I'll put in a good word with blah, 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 like that.
Use your connections.
And so, oh my gosh, it was an emotional roller coaster because number one, there are all of these dog whistles that are part of that race. Mm-hmm. So here you have this Black woman who's running, who is a member of Congress, right? Who before that was a state representative, mm-hmm. who before that had her own law practice, who before that was a public defender. Mm-hmm. So this is not Jenny from the block, right? Even though Jenny from the block also qualifies to run for Congress, right? And we see all of these Shanae references and from Black people.
Right. We're the hardest on each other.
Oh my God. And that was really taxing on me. There was also the person who she ran against who allegedly called the Calvin Allred, who had that position before her, a mediocre Black man. And it's like, you don't get to say that. So there are all these, nuances. Mm-hmm. The day itself, my nonprofit does nonpartisan, we're just getting people out to vote type of stuff. And so it was just a mentally exhausting day. Right. At the end of it, you know how you make plans, like you say you want to do the thing before you actually think about, like, that wouldn't be a good idea.
Right.
So,
Right.
So I had told a small group of people, I'm like, we're going to get a driver in a Suburban and we're going to hit up all of the election night parties.
Okay.
Why did they let me agree to do it? Why did I let myself agree to do that?
Right.
Because now it's the end of the day. I'm exhausted and now I have to go be on for a few more hours.
Mm-hmm. You got to put on the show.
Oh my gosh. So by the time I made it home, I was so exhausted. I couldn't even sleep. You ever been so tired you can't sleep?
When you're so tired all day, you finally get to the bed and you're just like, why am I awake?
Because you're just thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You're just thinking. And so the next morning I wake up and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be myself in any of these meetings.
Right.
Any of these, like, you're going to get the pre-trial, the free trial version of Durrel today.
I'm using that one.
Listen, I'm here.
Right.
And that's about it. I hope somebody's taking notes because, I'm just
sometimes
here.
you have to just show up. Just show up, but don't be fully present.
Yeah. And so it got to like, and then I had agreed to go with my mom to my brother's performance at 9 a.m.
Okay.
It was just too much, right?
Stacking on stacking.
Yeah. So when I was looking at our back and forth and said, oh, this is not on this is tomorrow, immediately I was like, I know what I'm doing with this time.
Taking care of yourself.
I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to be selfish. And that is what I needed. And the reason why I love Thai massages, one, just the act of being forced to be away from your phone, away from your laptop, away from somebody talking to you,
That's
away
needed.
from whatever. That, right.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, they stretch you. They do a lot.
Right.
I mean, it's great. And so at the end, it's like a Control-Alt-Delete.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. And it's not that expensive. It pays for itself because the reason why, if you use the high quality motor oil, your car will last a lot longer, kind of thing. And I want to get more.
What you pay for, basically.
Yes, and I'm getting more into like forcing the walking into my day. Like when I was in my 20s, I had a lot more free time. Now it's like you have to plan it the way you plan everything else.
Oh yeah, you have to have a good schedule.
Yes.
Like that for me. If I don't do it in the morning, I know I'm not doing it.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. Because
Yeah.
by the time I really think about it again, I done did so much that all I want to do is just rest.
Absolutely.
And it's important because a lot of us, we're not thinking about resting. We're not thinking about like pedicures. Like you do what? Like,
right.
A couple weeks ago, well, a month ago now, I was in the woods for like 3-4 days, and people were looking at me crazy. Like, are you all right?
Yeah.
I'm just taking time to myself.
But here's the thing. A lot of people are on the hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So anything outside of that
looks
easy. And it's like, but if you really look at those who are successful, and I don't measure success by finance, the people who are most in tune with being the most them version of them are the people who are weird.
Oh, yeah.
Who are the people who are weird?
I love being a weirdo. I actually, when I was in my coaching program, we did sessions.
Mm-hmm.
We were forced to do 4 sessions to graduation requirement. And so on one of my sessions, everybody in the room, we were talking about how we're all weirdos and we love being weirdos.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said, because we're at peace.
Yeah.
Like, we're not running in the rat race or on the hamster hill, like you just said. It's like, we're like, no, I don't want to do that.
But you know what's crazy? Going back to what we were talking about before, you're weirdos to the people who aren't your people.
Mm-hmm.
You're weirdos to the people who aren't your people. Like, once you, like, think about the person who, LeBron James, or I'm not really a sports person, but just follow the reference. So imagine LeBron James 20 years ago being around people who didn't really know basketball.
Right.
He would seem insane to them. They're like, man, this guy, he just basketball. But it's like, no, hang around. And it doesn't have to be other players. It could be coaches. Mm-hmm. It could be extreme fans. But you have to find, your people are out there who, when you're laying across the bed on a Saturday, will not think that it's weird that you're not at Sunday Fun Day.
Right.
They won't think it's weird. They understand, right?
Especially out here in Houston, brunch. Right. I've seen people gain some weight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I got it. Trying to fit in. Doing all these brunches.
I had grew up heavy when I first moved back. I moved back 3 years ago.
Wow.
And I got heavy. And I it took for me to detach from everybody before me to start peeling it off.
Yeah.
And now, like, even my mom, every time she sees me, she's like, you get skinnier?
Yeah. Listen, I started GLP-1 yesterday.
Okay.
I took my first injection yesterday. You know, hey, Oprah's doing it.
I'm gonna do it.
What's her name? Serena Williams is doing it.
Mm.
I didn't want the Ozempic face. I
Right.
didn't want, so one day in, I'm like, oh, like this, I get it. Cause you could do this and it's just like a head start.
Yeah, but
Because I still have the energy and I still have the whatever. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think the only thing with that is you still have to maintain it at the end of the day.
Well, but look at it like this. If you had high blood pressure, if you had high cholesterol, you would be on those medications consistently, right? Maybe not as much long term, but just to think about what we normalize. So if you go out and have, 3 drinks, nobody bats an eye.
Nobody.
Right?
But also drink is what?
Right. But think about when I started with therapy and I was talking about it, I had people reaching out, I'm praying for you. This is like, because we have made it's not demystified, right? So it's just like, once I did my run, I'm just like, okay, if the Oprah, and when she broke it down and was like, listen, I got willpower. Look at this other stuff. This is the thing. If this is what I'm like, okay, boop.
Let me tell you, I read it the other day, but LeBron James spends over $1 million in self-care, self-development every year. Yeah. And I was like, you have to really just pour into yourself. That's really what it is.
But also, like, I put into I didn't drive here. Right. I caught an Uber Black here. You know why? Because I understand that in order for me to be that Durrel, I can't be merging on 610 and doing all of this stuff and showing up here all frazzled. That is a feat in itself. Right. So I could show up here mind clear, focused on this. Right. And sometimes we look at it as, oh, that's a waste. Like, no, that is a necessary part of ... Yeah.
It's a step.
It's a step.
It's a positive attribute to what you're doing. Yeah. And it's like, there's some things that I do, like, for a while when I was going to conferences, my mom was like, so you just giving people your money? And I'm like, no, I'm going to go learn. But now she's seeing it and she's like, oh, okay, go ahead. Keep going back.
Right. But also, so like for the TED thing, I also do like speaker coaching. Okay. So the first, and I'm at school, SKOOL. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I did a school boot camp and I charged $197 for 5 days, 1 hour a day. Okay. Over 50 people bought it. Really? I made $11,000. It's on my TikTok. Okay. Durrel K. Douglas, 2 L's, 2 R's on TikTok. Go look. And you'll see I broke it down. It was 3 parts how I made $11,000 in 1 week. I have one that's open now. I've doubled my price. It's $397 now. And it's 3 days instead of 5. Okay. And it's like, so what I did with that $11,000, there was a TED Next thing coming up in a conference in Atlanta, and it was $2,800. And I would have never spent $2,800 on a conference. But I looked at it as like, I feel like I have to do this, right? So I go, and then I realized when you're in a room with people who spent $2,800 who could spend $2,800 and who did spend $2,800, you talk about the conversations, the connections. Yep. I have made $20,000 easily, right? No BS, over the connections I made over the course of that weekend.
That speaks to why isolation doesn't work.
Right. It you have to, going back to when I was younger, I looked at making friends. Like all of our first friends were like our cousins who we went to school with, the people in the neighborhood. Going back to the thing about where you got to break up with your friends, we're all driving a 15-passenger van. Okay. There are 14 other seats back there. There's your wife or your partner or whoever next to you. There's that front row, which are people who you really lean on. And then there's the other people. So what happens when you get to a stop and you need to let someone on, but all these are filled, all your seats are filled? Yeah. So when one piece of advice I would give to my 20-year-old self, or no matter what age you are that's really focused on building, have your friends the way we would normally describe it, or connections, as people that you like to hang with. Right. You have good fun with them. You also need mentors. These are people who, I respect this person. They are ahead of me in this, or they have the connections and they believe in me, and it's reciprocal. Because the right mentors will do it for free, because I want you to be successful, right? It gives them a little bit of joy.
They see it in you, or they work it out to where like you don't have to worry about the money.
You don't have to worry about,
you just have to talk to people though.
And then there's the other row of people that like, we're friends because we make money together. You're someone who I could call and be like, hey, did you see that property on something? Now, what's the deal with them? Which contractors do you now? What you think about, or people that can make a phone call and make mountains move? You know, like you gotta have the listen, and then you do the same for them. You know, and then there's the friends that are part of your hobby group. Like I really want to get into singing.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I put one AirPod in where I could hear myself. I could actually sing, but I'm like, I'm doing all this other professional development stuff, right? I want to work out and do all this stuff more, but I play the trumpet and the saxophone.
Okay.
Is there a world where I also sing?
Maybe.
It
might be an untapped skill.
Yeah.
But I see you always just try to try things.
Yeah.
Like, if you have an interest in it, try it. Like don't say that's their stuff.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
we don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like you just try something.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Like my wife wants to go skydiving. Now I ain't that crazy. But you know, most people be like, you all right?
Right.
Suicidal a little bit. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Right.
But I'm proud of you for wanting
to do it. I will support you and applaud and do all that.
From the ground.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
I made the joke. I said, because if something happens, at least one of us here for the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, nothing's gonna happen. I was like, I know,
Yeah.
but still.
But some people like, I don't do roller coasters either.
I don't either.
I think it's a control thing. It's probably related to my relationship with my dad from being growing up. Like
Maybe.
that could be a control thing. Look at me trying to make all these false like connections. But yeah, I don't need like my fun
Does not
is
require
like other stuff. Like even like gambling. Like I've been to a casino 4 times. I've never left with less than, you know, I've never lost. But I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I lost even $1,000 at a thing. I'd rather lose $1,000 on a venture that I thought would pan out that didn't.
Because if it doesn't pan out, you made a lot of money.
Exactly.
And that's something that can pay you on and on.
Yep.
But let's talk about the podcast a little bit.
Yes.
Why did you start your podcast?
So I really love the art of conversation.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to do a podcast. And I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know anything about it. I actually started in this very room.
Okay.
And the people here are amazing.
All right.
Breon.
Shout out to the Hive.
Yeah, shout out to the Hive. It's Black owned. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in this. But I needed interaction. Like I needed something. So then I started doing a live stream. And that's when it really ticked up, because then it was like, oh, like I'm getting feedback from people. Right. I'm getting comments. I'm getting whatever. And that made it easier. And then I told myself, okay, every Wednesday we're doing it. And consistently every Wednesday. I got to look back and see how many episodes there have been, but I don't even advertise it. There is no marketing. There is no website. There's a logo. It's called Live from the Black House. Okay. So I literally got somebody on Fiverr to like invert the White House logo and change it to the Black House Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's smart though. So what is the principle of your show? Like the basis of it? What do you talk about most?
The basis of it, it's a conversation with friends.
Okay. I like that.
About it just so happened to be politics, because this last year was a political year. This has been a political year. I kind of like work in that realm. So those were like my first guests. But I do want to branch out, and I don't want it to be political. Like I kind of feel typecast. Like Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton on Fresh Prince, he said he played that role so well he couldn't get any other jobs.
I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
Everybody saw him and saw Carlton.
Right. And so for me, everybody sees me and sees like activism and like, you know, politics, and it's like, no, there's so much more to me. Like I love this. I'm so full from this right here.
Every time.
Yeah. No, literally from this show, this moment right here. And so, yeah, that's kind of the premise. It's very loose. You know, with politicians or candidates, a lot of times they're like, send me talking points. What are the questions? It's like, then it's going to be boring.
It is.
Every time on my podcast, when you've seen me cry laughing, that was a genuine response. Moment. A spontaneous, like, what? I had this one moment where one candidate was talking about the 5 husbands of her opponent. And this is like an older Black woman. I'm like, what? Miss Sharon, what did you just say? And I'm like, whoa. Then the other one who didn't have 5 husbands, it was like 4. She wanted to be on the next one. So I was like, okay, 7:00 Wednesday. Let's do it. Y'all can go and see that. But I just use the clips. I've never, and only because I haven't had the time myself, nor do I want to do it, to like download it and put it on the SoundCloud, so it'll go to Apple Music. So I don't like that part of it.
Right.
I just show up and do it.
That's the easy part.
Yeah. And then put it in, I may put it in Opus Clips. I may rewatch and like clip myself, which helps me, like, because it forces me to watch it and see which transitions did what.
Right.
How I asked that question that led to that thing. How I got this person to let their wall down. Because some of them be so like,
people be like,
it's like, no, yeah, just like,
relax.
Yeah, it's good. It's
you
good.
agreed to come on here. Relax.
Exactly. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah,
Because
because at the end of the day, I'm trying to accomplish my goals, and you being here, is a part of that.
Yeah.
But like what you said earlier about you didn't have a website or nothing,
Yeah,
just a logo.
Yeah,
and that's a testament, because we always feel like we have to have all these things. When I first started, I needed a studio, I needed a team, I needed all these things. And like I told you earlier, I started on Zoom with a blank white wall behind me. This logo was not like this. I created this on ChatGPT.
Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. It's perfect. Because the King initiative, and you got the lion with the crown. It's perfect.
Exactly. It's simple, right?
It says
so it's like, now we have AI. You don't have an excuse to not jump the ship and go.
Exactly. And I'll say, instead of using, like, a lot of people try to make money by getting monetized on YouTube. I went a different route. Okay. I know that candidates and some people will pay $500 for 30 minutes because you're a natural conversationalist. A lot of other people are, but some people aren't. And they have no idea. They don't know where to start. So they'll give you $500. So then what I was doing, it's like the podcast studio cost me roughly a $125-ish an episode. Then it was like, I include the cost of my Uber there and back. Okay. Because that's also like, I'm going to show up in a Tahoe. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then boom, so I'm clearing, right? $700. Okay. Every Wednesday. That's $2,800 a month.
We about to talk.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But in wrapping up, I just want to thank you for coming on. Absolutely. For sure, it's been a great conversation. Like you said, I'm filled as well. But I do want to ask you one last question. Yes. Of course, I want you to look at the camera. And what is your message to the world?
My message to the world is live your life. There's so many people who are on a hamster wheel, who are living the lives that their mother told them to live, that society has told them to live. They're working a job that the world has told them to live. Go and live your life. Take chances. Be the you that you're supposed to be. Don't look to your left and your right. Look to yourself, right? For that guidance. Look up for that guidance, and then surround yourself with the people, places, and things that will make you the most perfect version of you that is possible. And then we all get out of here.
Hey, that was good though, because we have to hear that, especially as Black men. You know, we, like you said, no emotions and nothing like that. But
go get that pedicure.
Exactly.
Go get that massage.
Every time.
Cry.
I got a travel massage masseuse who comes to my house. Love her.
Right. Exactly.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, like, share, subscribe. This has been a great episode. Let me know what you got from this episode, because there's always something you can learn, right? If you're really listening with intention to learn something. But until next time, I'm out.